Yes, sir. What's poppin', good people? It's your boy, the boy, Henry Hick, back at it again with another video. And today I wanted to just pop in and give my 2 cents upon the comings and goings and the recent debacle with Bungie and Destiny between Sony PlayStation in regards to them not being able to meet the criteria that was set forth when they signed this deal for this paper. First and foremost, I spent a ton of time in Destiny 2. I got almost like 1,600 hours in the game, but I put it down, because primarily as a PvP player, the expansions be good, but primarily as a PvP player, I felt as though they weren't really respecting us, the PvP gamer. We lost our dedicated PvP team. We weren't getting maps. Vendor payouts were atrocious. It weren't really nothing interesting to, inside of that store. Wasn't nothing interested in as far as going to get. I'm a log these out today to get this. It wasn't that interesting. Then when we got these certain pinnacle weapons that we were able to not only show off because we put the time in, but use and abuse. You got to put the time in, hit certain objectives within a certain amount of time to get these weapons, and then whenever they just felt like it, they just decided to throw all that hard work out the window, and as the gamer, you got nothing in return. It was annoying. It was disheartening. And even up until release, how they released the game initially, there were a lot of things to where I was annoyed. But when you have a main game and a game you've just been so used to playing, pretty much that's all I was playing at one point, and you get so comfortable, it's not that you want to go anywhere else, but it's like, why? I put so much time into this game. I've, learned the systems, learned the mechanics, especially in PvP when you get to a point to where you can kind of, I wasn't a god or anything. I'm not trying to put that message out there that I was just a god and I was just shitting on everybody, because I was decent. I was above average, I say. But, it still takes time and effort to get competent in the shooter. You know what I mean? But over like I said, the non-release of maps, poor vendor rewards, invalidating certain gear that you earn throughout being proficient in PvP, it became a irritant. It went from being an annoyance to an irritant, to where it made me not even want to play, because I migrated from PvP and I was like, you know what, I just go play Gambit. Gambit is fun. There's a PvP aspect to it, even though it's mostly PvE, but you got that, you get an opportunity to jump through the portal and get your PvP on, or if an invader pop in, you get your opportunity to shut him down, which is what I was doing, shut folk down. Yes, sir. And, it was fun, but then sure enough, they tried it on over there and fuck that to hell, to the point to where it's not even fun. Like, why am I doing this? I'm gonna just go play something else. To which I did. I went and played a number of games, me and the homies, we was on. Even went to PUBG at one point. COD. I played some Div 2 PvP, which was drastically different, and it's a learning curve. And I worked my way up to being competent in various other shooters, but it just didn't scratch that itch. Just like how Destiny, the way the gun feels when you like the feedback from shooting weapons in that game is just amazing, and the movement amazing. Which is another reason why I'm such a fan of Concord, because Concord has a lot of that in it as far as movement and gunplay, to which I like a ton, especially with every character having a dodge, and being a hunter player, I'm used to, using that dodge mechanic in order to not just get my reload, to not just get my melee back, but to also maneuver in and out of situations. But anyway, this decision and how it's really come to play, it don't surprise me at all. In fact, when it happened, there were conversations going about, and a lot of people expected this to happen. and didn't give it a long amount of time before it did happen. A lot of people saying over under 12 months. And to be honest, I looked forward to that happening, to where PlayStation took over the reins, Sony took over the reins, and they start putting in their own persons in there, start injecting their own PlayStation DNA up in there. You know, because if you play Destiny, there's a lot of decisions that were made that just weren't the best decisions. You know, I'm not one of those people who feel as though Bungie was a bad buy. I don't feel that way at all, because, like, say what you want to say, Destiny 2 is a successful game. You know, very regularly they hit 50, 60K peak. So it's not that it's a failing game, it's a failure or a flop. When these DLCs come out, they rank quite well. And it's not even a question of if the DLC itself is bad, it just, is it better than the last one? And even if it's not better than the last one, it's still not terrible. It's still not bad. It's still not unenjoyable. Destiny 2 has some of the best DLC storylines that you could ever hope to play in a lot of games. Even though I love Remnant 2, I love the DLCs, but they just don't touch the narrative inside of, you know, your Destiny 2 DLC storylines. But, you know, some of the employees, you know, haven't had the best things to say. You know, of course, there are a lot of people in a mass layoff. There are a lot of people who just catch strays, who just so happen to be, you know, wrong place, wrong time. You know what I mean? You just, so all the fingers might not be bad fingers, but when the arm get infected, y'all all gotta go. You know what I'm saying? That might not make sense. But anyway, and certain persons are deciding to speak out against certain leadership. And when I see that kind of stuff, I'm like, man, why wait? Why wait? And if it's a situation to where you were worried about your job and all this type of stuff, I understand that, but at the same time, right here, right now, you out of a job anyway. You know, especially when it come down to them being purchased, I would have immediately took my tail up there to Sony office. I would immediately, whoever was the liaison between Bungie and, I'm sending emails, baby. I'm sending, say, hey man, this is what been going on. This has been going on, and this is what been going on. And them folks would have did which they did apparently. They did their research. They looking into the Manila folders. You know, investigations were going on. But at least had that been done, you would have found yourself on the right side. You know, it's kind of like when things were good, you ain't have nothing to say, and now all of a sudden that, you know, you had to hit the bricks. Now we want to, you know, be outspoken and describe all these things, and this person should step down, this person should be fired, and it's just less powerful after you yourself been fired. You know what I mean? It means a lot more when you have something on the line, so to speak. And I understand you don't want to risk your job, you gotta take care of your family, blah blah blah. But you know, you in that situation now anyway. And not to even stay on that, because that's a very, very sensitive subject. But you know, some people have been trying to point to how how this person in leadership spent X amount of dollars on classic antique cars and all this other stuff. These folk in these CEO positions are rich. They are extremely rich. They ain't pinching pennies. They ain't scraping by. You know what I mean? These people have tons and tons and tons of money. So it's not as if the person was misappropriating studio funds and funneling them toward, you know, these antiquities. What more than likely happened was the individual, you know, he was like, all right, now I got some extra throwaway money. Went off and threw away some pocket money. You know what I'm saying? Because we got this money coming in, so, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and dip it to the bank account. The wife said it was cool. We doing well right now, so you know what? I'm finna cash out. And you know, I don't know if it's people looking at that like if the studio is in these financial ruins, I don't know if they will look into this individual as if he should have been sinking his own monies into it, or maybe not have taken certain bonuses and pay increases in light of the studio being in run, because Bungie was, them boys was on the floor. Bungie as a studio was on the floor. They were in need, which is why they allowed themselves to be purchased anyway, which is the case for a lot of these studios. When a lot of these big acquisitions take place, they are in need. They need to be purchased. Same thing with Activision. They needed it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have been the case. You know, and certain persons, like when in a small business, right? You have some small business. If the business is doing bad, yeah, you will take certain decreases. You will spend a little bit less at home and put a little more into your business and all that type of stuff. But these folks don't look at these big multi-million-dollar companies like that. They don't look at it like that. You know, when you have a smaller business, it's like a youth you bringing up. You know, it's a real investment. You know, you have a certain attachment to it while it's in its infancy. And as far as we know, this person probably didn't even think anything like this would have taken place. It's like, man, we just dropped this banging ass DLC, stuff good right now. It's been well received, and though the player count didn't stay high, it's kind of hovering about where it usually is, not including console numbers. You know, because PlayStation don't have no type of system in place to showcase which they should have. Which they definitely should have. As far as I don't know what got going on. I'm not over that. But you know, some people are calling for or putting the idea that because PlayStation is taking over more so, Marathon about to be consoles. I don't think that at all. I do not think that at all. Now this new IP that they're working on with this new team that they formulated through funneling some of this Bungie personnel, that might be console exclusive. That's more realistic to be console exclusive, and to be honest, to make for a more interesting conversation as far as, you know, whether or not a IP or is about the exclusive. Like Marathon being exclusive, I think it'd be a fool's errand to make Marathon an exclusive. You know, PlayStation Nation has already stepped forth and shown that they're not really too heavy and invested and interested in PvP games, even if it is an extraction. And that genre of shooter does well on PC. So to make it exclusive to PlayStation console would be foolishness. And at this particular time, I don't think that's a risk that PlayStation would be interested in taking, especially after already the game already being announced for everything, you know. But as far as this new IP, I can certainly see that being only PlayStation. I mean, it's a small team working on it. It's like 70 folks on that joint, you know. But I don't envision a world where they say, you know what, Marathon PlayStation exclusive. I just don't see that. Oh no. There's also been some word of Destiny 3 being canceled and not even being, you know, announced. And, you know, the individual who said this has a history of missing. You know, a lot of people give him a lot more credit than one would deserve if your record is 50-50. You know what I'm saying? It's not like this individual has been right 100% of the time. And again, I just don't care for individuals. Sources say, I heard from so-and-so. I like, bro, who cares? I don't think it's gonna be canceled personally, because if so, where would all these other people go? But yeah, I just want to give my brief 2 cents on the matter as a, you know, former Destiny 2 enjoyer. But that's all I got for you right now. We'll catch y'all in the next one.